There's a lot of military activity happening right now inside Russia. Very early this morning, in the early hours of June 24th, what looks to be a military coup or putsch began. The first official indication of this is that the Russian government's emergency plan called Fortress was put into action.
Is Russia about to witness a military coup, and which former Russian ally is Putin now branding a traitor? Let me explain. Yevgeny Prigozhin is the leader of the Wagner Group. He's played a huge role for Russia in its invasion of Ukraine. Prigozhin has recruited thousands of mercenaries from his group to join the war effort. However, he has famously been arguing with the Russian command about the way the war has been run. The arguing has now turned into a revolt. Prigozhin has called for an armed rebellion against the Kremlin. He has said that all 25,000 of his troops are ready to die in the uprising. Prigozhin and the Wagner Group claims it has taken control of all Russian military facilities, including an airfield in the Russian city of Rostov on the Ukraine border. Putin has now branded the Wagner Group as traitors in an emergency address to Russians. The Ministry of Defence here in the UK described the Wagner armed rebellion as the most significant challenge to the Russian state in recent times.
The situation in Russia remains uncertain after the coup attempt by Wagner seems to be coming to a confusing end. The coup was averted by the intervention of Belarus's Lukashenko, who mediated a deal between Wagner and Putin. According to the deal, Wagner's leader and his troops will receive legal immunity for their actions and will immediately return to their bases, while Russia's defense minister and chief general will be replaced. Wagner's forces managed to shoot down 7 aircraft, seize 2 cities, damage critical infrastructure, and made it all the way to Moscow's doorstep. The deal may have prevented an immediate escalation of violence, but it also raised questions about Putin's legitimacy and authority. How will he deal with the discontent and dissent among his loyalists? How will he restore his image and credibility in the eyes of the public and the international community? How will he prevent further attempts to undermine or overthrow him? These are some of the issues that Russia will have to grapple with in the aftermath of the coup attempt. Stay tuned, while Intel Drop keeps you updated on this historic and dynamic situation.
Okay, so I'm seeing a lot of news about the whole Russia coup attempt by the Wagner Group. Now, if you don't know who the Wagner Group is and how long they've been fighting for Russia and the history of it, I suggest that you look into it. I don't have the time right now to explain everything, but I will tell you pieces of kind of clues that I'm seeing about this entire thing being set up. So we have the Wagner Group that has been pro-Russia, paid by Russia, for many, many years. They fought in many different countries for the Russians. And all of a sudden that they're claiming that Russia threw a missile at them and now they're headed towards Moscow. They apparently have already taken over Rostov, which is the military headquarters for Russia, and no one's stopping them. That should be your first red flag. I don't know if you've ever seen real coup attempts in other countries, but the minute it starts, the military gets involved and the people are pushed back because it's a legitimate coup attempt. This seems all theatrics. One, we have $6.2 billion that have gone missing for aid in the Ukraine that has been found. And literally right after it's been found, we've got the Wagner Group turning its back on Russia, as if in this theatrical play that they've already set out to be. Now, I don't know if people understand this, but these large companies and the 13 families have been funding both sides of the war in every war. Like you name it, World War I, World War II, the Bosnian War that I was in, like I'm from Bosnia, I was in that. And what people don't understand is once everything calms down, the people who have gone through the war start to realize that they were just being used as pawns to basically wreck a country so that the foreign entities can come in and buy out your entire country, your resources and everything, and install their banks into your country, which is exactly what's happening in the Ukraine right now. And I'm going to show you this article of what Project Veritas basically exposed about BlackRock, openly stating that wars are profitable for them. So let me show you. So basically, Project Veritas founder James O'Keefe basically filmed somebody stating that works for BlackRock that the Ukraine conflict is effing good for business. Now, what people don't seem to understand is if they're funding both sides of the war, that means both sides are on the same page and they're just theatrically telling us that they're not. And why do I say that? Well, according to news sources, the Russians have now bombed their own fuel sources that apparently the Wagner Group has taken control over. Do you know what that means? That means oil and gas prices will be skyrocketing. in that article that I showed you, it also states that with the Ukraine conflict, food prices have gone up. This is basically them just creating more issues that then we will have to pay for. So those of you cheering on either side or whatever, you're basically cheering on a conflict that was created by them, and they're all on the same side. So why are we fighting against whose sides we take?
Brother, I want you to give me 5. What do you mean? You mean 5 on the block?